Welcome back to GB News Tonight with me, your host, Martin Dorby. Now, earlier on today, Reform UK made this bombshell announcement at their press conference with the grooming gang survivor, the very brave Ellie-Ann Reynolds, who resigned from the National Inquiry last week and called for Safeguarding Minister Jess Phillips to resign.
It's time for Parliament to step up and to do its job. Select committees have the power to summon anybody. They could summon a former social worker. They could summon a former police officer. They could summon a former councillor. They could summon a former member of Parliament. It also has the power to require that people swear an oath. These are the extraordinary powers that Parliament has if it chooses to use it.
And here was the extraordinary brave Ellie-Ann Reynolds herself at the very same press conference.
It was down to the fact that they don't want to vocalise the ethnicity of these men. We almost felt uncomfortable vocalising the ethnicity of these men, and like we shouldn't. Pretty much when we were in that inquiry, we were stripped from our voices, and we're not going to be stripped from our voices anymore. It wasn't morally correct for me to maintain myself on the panel because of how it was going. It was rigged from the start.
I'm delighted to say I'm now joined by Reform UK leader Nigel Farage in the studio, and also by GB News' senior political commentator Nigel Nelson. Mr. Farage, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Outline, if you could, to viewers tuning in, a novel use of parliamentary power, this select committee, and particularly making people take the oath under threat of perjury.
So, 2 months ago, I went to Washington to testify before the House Judicial Committee about the situation with free speech in Britain. I had to put my hand on the Bible and swear. And I thought, wow, I'm in a court of law. Now, not being an American citizen means I couldn't perjure myself, but I'm in a court of law. And I thought, why doesn't the British Parliament, why don't our committees have these powers? Well, funny enough, I was talking to Ranald Jawardner, former Conservative minister, who said, no, we've all forgotten. Fred Goodwin was summoned, remember the ex-boss of RBS, was summoned to appear before the Treasury Select Committee after the banking collapse. In 2011, the Public Accounts Committee were looking at wasteful money in public finances, actually got people to swear oaths before that committee. Now, 15 years has gone by. We've forgotten about all of this. Parliament has forgotten the powers that it has. It does have the ability to subpoena people to appear. It does have, albeit you may say these are ancient laws and not current now, but it does have the ability to sanction, including imprisonment, in theory. And it does, as it did in 2011, have the ability to make people come and under oath before committee in Parliament, give their statements, which, if they lie, could be open to perjury as well. Parliament has incredible powers, but we've lived through 25 years of Parliament's authority being given to quangos, being given to courts, being given to judges, and it's time to claim it back. And my argument was that we call it grooming gangs, let's be frank, the mass rape gangs have sullied our reputation around the world. They're a stain on our country. Do you know, up to 250,000 young girls have been abused by these gangs over the last few decades. The numbers are almost incomprehensible. And I want Parliament to grip this and restore public trust.
Nigel Farage, something else astonishing that came out today was when Ellie-Ann Reynolds said this has been a mess from the start. It's been controlling, gaslighting, manipulative, a shambles, and more to the point, all shrouded in secrecy. You said earlier on this should all be held in the open. It should be televised for the entire media to see and the public to see.
The Palace of Westminster, the mother of parliaments, I mean, there's the image behind you. You know, it is one of the most incredible buildings in the world. I want that to be turned into a court. And it has the ability to do this. It's done it through history. It's done it, as I say, 15 years ago. I want the full glare of media publicity. I want social workers. I want police officers. I want councillors. I want former MPs in those areas who must have known what was going on, simply must have known what was going on to appear before that court. And I think the It can be done quickly. I mean, think about it. Starmer U-turned earlier on this year on a public inquiry. Nearly 5 months have elapsed. Nothing has happened. They can't even agree a chair. So I think this is the right place to do it, in the full glare of media publicity, and to do it quickly.
You've just been to a meeting with Sir Lindsay Hoyle to discuss this within reason. You can tell us how was your idea received?
Well, obviously, the Speaker of the House of Commons, he wants Parliament to be in control of the national debate. He's listened very carefully to what I have to say. He wants me to go back to get a more extended paper written on the powers of Parliament and how relevant they are today. But he's in no way is he opposing me doing what I'm doing. So I call it a very constructive meeting.
He's up for it.
I call it a very constructive. I'm not going to speak for the Speaker, who is, in Parliament up there, and rightly so, I would say. He says, on the basis of what I've said, if I can provide more conclusive evidence that the powers of Parliament are extant and relevant today, that'll make my case even stronger.
Nigel Nelson, what's your take? Is this the kind of breakthrough we need to get out of this quagmire?
Well, the problem really seems to me is where we started from. The government were reluctant to hold a national inquiry. The only reason they did so was because of a public outcry and also because the survivors wanted it. The government wanted to put in the recommendations from the earlier inquiry, the Alexis J inquiry, before starting a new one. Now we have a public inquiry, or at least we had the bones of a public inquiry, and suddenly we're going to do something different. The question is whether a select committee can do what you want it to do. It can't do granular detail when it comes down to evidence. There'll be 2 or 3 evidence sessions at most. A minister will then come, and that'll be it.
Well, hang on, Nigel. There's no reason why this can't sit for several weeks or a couple of months. And what it might just do is to begin to reveal the cover-up. Now, I'm not going to pretend the cover-up was worse than the crime. The crime itself was abhorrent in so many ways. But it might at least begin that process. And this government, they can't even agree on a chairman. 5 of the rape gang survivors have withdrawn from it already on the basis they've broadened it out to wider sexual crime. It's not got the laser focus. I think what I'm offering is whether it's perfect, I don't know. But it's a start.
OK, thank you, Nigel Farage. Thank you, Nigel Nelson. Now, responding to Mr Farage's press conference, the Labour Party chairwoman, Anna Turley, told GB News this: the exploitation of children by grooming gangs is an appalling scandal. And this Labour government is determined to deliver justice for the survivors. As the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary promised the survivors, the scope of the inquiry will not change. It will examine the ethnicity and the religion of offenders, have full powers to compel witnesses and uncover the truth. And whilst the Tories failed to act as this crisis was unfolding and reform shout from the sidelines, this Labour government is getting on with the job of delivering a national inquiry, putting survivors at the heart of the process and holding the institutions that failed them to account. Thank you very much indeed to Nigel Farage and to Nigel Nelson. Always an absolute pleasure.